What's going on?
Thanks for stopping here. My husband Mikush hasn't returned from Bilani. Me and Vendula are awfully worried about him.
Wait, I need to know a bit more. What's your name?
Svatava,
I'm Henry. And Vendula would be...
our only daughter.
And your lost husband is... Mikush?
Aye. Since we've been living in this hut, he's been going to work to Bilani.
When did you last see him?
He left a few days ago. He's never been away this long.
What job did he do in Bilani?
He's a damned good tailor. But besides that, he does odd jobs around the village. He always brings whatever he earns here. Mostly food. The little we manage to grow here isn't enough.
Why don't you look for him yourself? Bilani isn't that far.
I can't. I've injured my ankle. I can't walk that far.
What happened?
I twisted it when we were running away from the soldiers through the forest. It's better now, but it still hurts. It would take me half a day to limp to Bilani.
So why don't you send your daughter?
By herself? Are you mad? She's young, inexperienced. Something might happen to her.
Did your Mikush have any enemies you know of?
Enemies? No. He's a nice man. He never hurt a soul. Maybe he's a bit too nice. He trusts everyone. I'm worried someone might have tricked him into something.
What do you mean?
He thinks people are good deep down. I don't think that. People can be right bastards. That's why I'm so worried about him.
Do you want me to find him?
You'd do that for me?
Yes. Don't worry. I'll find him. Where do you think I should start? In Bilani?
Aye. Ask about him in the tavern. He wears a fine embroidered hat. Everyone will remember him.
Why are you here? In the forest?
We had a big house in Messales. But then Sigismund's mercenaries decided to burn the village to the ground. Mikush, Vendula and me all escaped at the last moment. The others weren't so lucky. It was hell on earth. You can't imagine the terror.
I'm from Scallis. I reckon I can.
You can. I don't know. In any case, we ended up here. At least we had some roof over our heads. But now, I don't even know what'll happen next.
Why did the soldiers attack your village?
Why? Good Lord, such a question. They didn't ask us anything. The worst thing is, the village paid some mercenaries for protection. But they took off the moment they saw horses kicking up dust on the horizon. I'm glad old Svartosh, my father, didn't live to see it. His heart would have burst.
How are you getting along here?
Now, quite miserably. I hope you find my Mikush soon. We won't be able to go on without him.
I'll try and look for him.
Oh, bless you, kind soul. And good luck.
Hello, buti pa sa kanila ganda araw umuulan sa amin kanina. Hello, Chitatus. Pero yeah, you are correct. Ang lakas ng vibes ng game na to. I truly believe this is the best RPG in the world. Joke lang. Tanda na, naka-unmute na ako.
You silly doggy.
Wait, yata ako narinig ni Chitatus Chari. Rinig pala ako. Akala ko Camelot na eh. Sorry, nasa Discord na si Chari. Sabi niya dumodoble daw. Sabi nung nilaro ko to yung first game nung 2017. Kingdom Come 2017. Oof! I knew it. I knew it was special. It was special. It's parang ilang taon ko rin hintay itong sequel na to. Pero nagkatu siya. Mikushis Vendula. What the hell is this?
I spoke with Svatova.
Really?
My name is Henry.
I'm Vendula.
Ganda ng graphics.
I need to know more about your father.
Ang weird talaga ng mga tao na nagja-judge ng graphics ng game na parang ang PS2, PS3 niya raw ang shit niya, which is like, I get it. Hindi siya super like high fidelity yung
How does he get along with people?
pero kung may mga specific characters na ang ganda nung pag-render, para si Henry, mga main characters,
Ma gave him an
like,
earful that
ang
time.
crisp nila. Pero etong kunwari, etong random NPC, syempre hindi sila maglalagay ng super high fidelity na sobrang ganda ng pagkaka-render sa kanila or pagkaka-mocap or whatever. Ang sarap i-roleplay. Yeah, it is
Man doesn't fight for no
the
reason.
ultimate RPG.
Try to remember what happened. It might be
It is the
important.
ultimate RPG.
Maybe
for
someone
me.
wanted to get revenge.
Well,
And dati ko pa
when
sinasabi na
I
siya,
picked Pa up at the
Skyrim
tavern,
without
he was sitting with some friends playing
magic
dice.
and high fantasy
He
shit.
must have been doing pretty
Like,
good,
kahit sa
because I
YouTube,
heard one fella
May mga
accuse him of being
nagko-comment
a
dun sa
wizard.
pinost kong
So
short
he
na
might have got into a fight over a dice
na
game.
medieval
Lower your
RDR
voice.
siya. And I was like,
Ma
what the
doesn't know
fuck
anything
do you
about
mean?
it. He might
The
have
fuck
got
is this
into a
medieval Red
fight
Dead Redemption?
only over the dice.
And then inaaway ko pa sila
But
kasi
otherwise, he's harmless.
talagang tinutuloy-tuloy nila na medieval RDR yan kasi pwede kang makapag-usap ng ng
So your ma
randomly
doesn't
pwede
know
kang
Mikush plays
mang-heckle.
No,
Ganon.
and
I was
I'm
like,
begging you,
fuck
don't
you
tell
mean?
her. She'd be even
And then
more
sasabi
worried
nila,
about
they
him.
took inspiration from RDR. I was like,
How's life?
mas maagang
How do you think?
na-release yung 1
Not so
kaysa sa
good.
Red Dead
I
Redemption 2.
understand.
So,
Being in
it
the
pisses me
forest and all.
off na parang,
What can you do? At
Oh,
least we're
whatever.
alive. If Ma
Oblivion,
hadn't believed the news that
yeah, it
soldiers were
is.
approaching
Basta
the
siya,
village,
it
we
really
all
is
could have
Skyrim.
been dead.
Promise.
Like
It is
the
Skyrim.
others.
Even yung vibes niya. Yung random encounters.
Why did those soldiers
Yung
burn
feeling
down your
na,
village exactly?
yung feeling na,
Over a conflict with the local lord?
Ah.
or something like that?
I don't know.
mag-explore ka lang and
The
then may
village belongs
quest
to the
ka.
monastery, and the custodian
And then
shows up
masasidetrack
once a
ka ng
year at
sobrang
most.
daming beses.
Nevertheless, is a small
So,
village.
I am playing this
Or it
for work
was.
then. And
As far as I
kinakausap ko yung mga
recall,
members ko.
It's a place people
and
would
never
leave
nila
to
nalaro
find
yung
a
one.
better life elsewhere.
So, every now and then, I would
Ma
ask them, okay,
always
how is
reminisced
your
about how in
progress?
her
Ganyan,
father's
ganyan.
time, things were different.
It's
But
very,
that's what old folks always
it's very,
say. Take care, my friend.
it's very Skyrim nga daw, na parang lagi silang na-sidetrack. And sabi nung isa kong team,
Hear what I say about the greatest evil of all, the one called woman.
Greetings to you.
They look like angels on the outside. Soft.
You wouldn't happen to know some warrior who'd like to earn some silver? You any use with a sword? I'm looking for an armed escort.
Good afternoon. I'm looking for one fella. He's named Mikush.
Mikush? Doesn't ring a bell.
They say he wears a fancy hat.
Ah, the Hatter, of course. He's not from around here. He started showing up a few months ago. Just for a few days at a time. Sometimes he'd sleep here.
I hear he made his living as a tailor in the village.
I don't know anything about that. He never offered me his services.
I hear he enjoys a game of dice.
He does indeed. He plays a lot. I noticed that about him.
Is he any good?
You're asking too much of me, my good man. People are always playing dice here. Winning and losing. I can't keep up. Ask Chernik. He's the dice champion here. He'll certainly know more.
What's going on around here?
A knight is staying at our inn. He goes by the name of Jan Posey. He's looking to find men for an armed expedition. He may have a job for you. Have you heard the news? It seems a dragon was found nearby.
A dragon?
Aye, really? Everyone's been talking about it. Even that monk that came into town was wide-eyed. Go and talk to him. Maybe he'll tell you more about it. And that's about it.
Sounds interesting. Thanks, innkeeper. What's going on around here?
Nothing much, really. If you're looking for a job, try your luck elsewhere. Farewell.
I'd like to offer you a job.
Wash up a bit so you don't forget.
You look like a yokel, lad. I'm looking for someone. His name's Mikush.
Mikush? Never heard of him.
I've been told he wears a...
Fancy hat?
Exactly.
I've seen him around here.
The innkeeper told me that you definitely played with Mikush.
Aye. I do like a good game of dice. But I'm not telling you anything else about him.
Why's that?
Because I don't know you. Like me ma always said, never talk to strangers. Come on, let's roll some dice instead.
Let's play then, if that's what you want.
That's what I like to hear. My palms were getting itchy.
Let's go then.
Well,
Want to earn a bit of coin?
I hope Lady Luck will be on my side.
You wouldn't happen to know some warrior who'd like to earn some silver?
I'd like something to eat.
Bunch of fucking...
My God, I'm done.
No one here brave enough to set foot outside the gates.
Fuck that.
Happy now?
good game. How about another one?
Maybe, but first, talk.
I've known Mikush since the first moment he showed up here to play. Unsurprisingly, the bloke looked like he couldn't count to 5. I thought I'd found an easy mark. But man, was I wrong. He's a great player. And that kind of praise means something coming from me. He knows when to bet everything on the final roll.
So he won a lot?
Aye, for a while. Until his luck ran out. Then he started borrowing. One time he got so desperate, and maybe had a few too many beers, he started going on about his buried fortune in Messalis, saying he'd surely pay back anyone who lent him money. Ha!
Did anyone lend him anything?
Aye, and Mikush won everything back.
And did he pay back the money he borrowed?
Of course, every last groschen. He was laughing the whole time, too.
What about that buried fortune of his? Did he ever mention it again?
The next day, he claimed he made it all up, saying he just had too much to drink. Only nobody believed him.
Did anyone seem particularly interested in his fortune? Someone who'd want it for himself and would go after Mikush because of it?
Everyone was interested in it, but Mikush never talked about it again. Besides, that village is burned to the ground and full of rabble. Messalis is an awful mess. That rhymes!
When did you last see Mikush?
A few days ago. He was playing against that hired hand, Drat. Drat lost and didn't have enough money. They left together, and Mikush hasn't shown up since. That's pretty suspicious now that I think about it. That Drat bloke's an odd duck.
What do you mean, odd?
I've heard he's been dealing with some bandits. You'd better have a word with him. But be careful.
Where can I find this drat?
Somewhere in the village. I reckon he'll be at the farm he works at. Well, technically, because he's a big fella and looks strong, they made him into something like the village catchpole. But to tell you the truth, he's less a catchpole and more just a regular farmhand pretending to be a catchpole.
Where can I find this drat?
I already told you. At the farm or somewhere in the village.
I'll go have a talk with Drat then. Thanks.
Don't mention it. And if you ever fancy a game, you know where to find me.
A horse.
To the hills, my friends.
You're Drat.
Aye, that's me.
Can I ask you something?
Ask away. But do it fast, I don't have all day.
Do you know a fella by the name of Mikush?
I don't know any Mikesh.
Nah, knock it off. I hear you left the tavern together. And no one has seen Mikush since.
Oh yeah, that fella. We were heading in the same direction, but then went separate ways. That's all I know.
You certainly know something about Mikush's disappearance, and you should talk.
Should I? Why's that?
You best realise to whom you're speaking, boy. If it were of no importance, a noble such as myself would waste no time with it. So speak.
I apologise, sir. It's not my fault. It was Hanka.
Who's this Hanka woman?
Hanka's not a woman, but a man. We've known each other for years. He was a hired hand in Messalus. Certainly know what happened there. The horror. Not long ago, he came to see me. Said he was the only survivor from the entire village, but I know that wasn't true.
Because you met Mikush.
I thought he'd be quite happy that someone else got away, but he was actually quite upset about it.
What do you mean, upset?
Well, you could see it on him, all nervous like. Seemed to me like it was rubbing him up the wrong way. That Mikush, of all people, survived.
Interesting. Did he tell you anything else?
I didn't ask him any more questions.
So, someone comes to see you, acts all odd, and you don't ask any questions? I don't believe you. You must have had a normal conversation, seeing as you're old friends. And he had to have told you something.
Well, I understood he quarrelled with Mikush and his family about some money, a family inheritance. Nothing unique there. It happens in every family, so I didn't pry any deeper. Then he said he'd like to talk to Mikush and whether I could set up a meeting.
Well, thanks to you, he knew Mikush frequents the tavern. So why didn't he go and find him? To talk with him?
I don't know.
Damn it! Come clean. You must have asked him the very same question. So you know the real reason. Admit it.
Hanka had told me he'd joined up with some bandits, so he didn't want to show his face in the taverns. It wasn't so long ago they robbed a merchant here. I reckon he was afraid someone might recognise him.
So he wanted to rob Mikush?
I really have no idea. Hanka didn't tell me. I just wanted to help out an old friend. I didn't know what he was up to. What the hell do I care about some strange fellow with a funny hat, damn it? Hanka told me to take Mikush outside the village and then he'd meet him there. But he said Mikush couldn't know about him, and he left figuring out how to do that up to me. So I played dice with Mikush. He's damn good, so I had no problem losing a few games. In no time at all, I owed him quite a few groschen. I told him I could pay my debt immediately, but he'd have to come with me to my hiding place. He didn't blink an eye. He's damn trusting, given how things are today. I took him a little way outside the village, told him I was going to take a piss, and then took off. And that's all. I don't know anything else.
Where did you take him? I want the exact location.
Here, just outside the village, on the way towards Missalus.
Are you trying to lie again, Drat? Hanka joined up with some bandits. You said yourself he wouldn't dare going anywhere near the village. Unless you want to piss me off, you'll tell me the truth. Now.
All right, fine. It was a bit further away from the village. Actually, it was quite far.
Where were you supposed to take Mikush?
A crossroads by the forest, on the way to Missalus. Actually, almost right by Missalus. A little beyond the woodsman's camp. Just go straight. 2 roads intersect there. It's the only proper crossroads on the way.
What happened at the crossroads? I want the truth.
Well, as I was saying, I took Mikush there and told him I needed to take a piss. Then Hanka jumped out of the woods with some bandits. They grabbed him. He began to scream, but there was no one around to hear him.
And what did you do?
I didn't wait to find out what would happen. I ran.
What did Hanka promise you for bringing Mikush to him?
Nothing. I did it out of friendship.
Are you trying to lie again?
All right. He said he'd give me part of the buried inheritance.
So Hanka wanted to get his hands on that inheritance the whole time?
I reckon so.
He felt the family owed it to him, but I don't understand why.
Family. Skeletons in the closet. You never know.
How long have you known Hanker? Since you're such good friends?
We go back a long way. As youngsters, we'd beat the shit out of each other in the Merciless Tavern. As it often goes, we ended up becoming friends over a beer, you know? But I haven't seen him since I've been working as a catchpole. Not until now, that is.
But if you were such good friends, you must know more than you're telling me.
Maybe. But it's not important.
Every detail is important.
So listen up. Hanker always had one big problem. No woman would have him. He's always said it's because he's not rich. But he's just a hired hand. As if a hired hand can't shag. The stories I could tell.
Get to the point.
Last year, his cousin danced with him at a feast. He was like a new man. He wouldn't stop talking about her. Vendula this, Vendula that. As if he was in love with her. And then, all of a sudden, nothing. He never mentioned her again.
Where might Hanker be now?
I only know what he told me. That he ran off into the forest. And that's where he joined up with those bandits. He bragged about how they made him their captain.
I'm not wasting any more time with you. God only knows what Hanker's done to Mikush, and you're responsible for it. Be ashamed. You sold out an innocent man for a handful of groschen. Sickening.
I'm truly sorry.
But being sorry won't help. You're a snake in the grass. You deserve punishment.
Please, don't tell anyone. No one can find out.
All right. I won't tell anyone. You have committed a grave sin, but if you show remorse, God will forgive you.
Thank you. I'll never do anything like that again. I swear. I'll pray and go to church and...
Enough already. Farewell, Drat.
Come here.
Quick! Go! Ka! Go! Whoa! Go! Go! Ka! Go! Go! Ka! 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 Come on. Go. Oh. Blood. And quite a lot of it, too. Looks like they dragged that poor wretch further. I'll have to find out where. That must be Mikush's hat. It looks like it fell off when they dragged him into the woods. I'll have to find out which way they took him. Sit. Stay.
This wouldn't have happened. He didn't give him a chance. He should have given him a breather. Not just burned him with a red-hot knife. Did he get out of him what he needed?
It's a trap! Nice try, you whoreson.
Mercy! Leave me be!
Mercy! Spare me!
God! Why, that tree? Is that Mikush? What have you done to that poor man?
I...
You hear me? What did you do?
Nothing. It was Anka.
What did he do to him? Talk.
He stabbed him, and then he shoved a red-hot knife in the wound.
Good God.
He wanted him to tell the truth. He's out of his mind.
What did he want from him?
Well, he wanted to find out where he buried that inheritance, but he kept saying he doesn't know.
Oh, Christ almighty.
The tailor swore he didn't know anything, but his wife did. She's the one who buried it.
What happened next?
He wouldn't stop burning him until Mikush told him where his wife was hiding. Anka took off with the men to their hut. He left us here to guard him and told us if he dies, he'll sort us out. Only the tailor's getting worse. He's all burned, delirious. He's dying. We don't know what to do with him.
Why? Why did he torture him so cruelly?
Oh, I don't know. He just kept saying, that was our money. That was our money too. He called Mikush uncle a few times. I don't know why. I don't reckon he's actually his uncle. He wouldn't do that to him, right? He wouldn't torture his own uncle like that, would he? Unless... Jesus.
This keeps getting better and better. What's the story with this Hanka fella?
It used to be an Iron Hand in Messalis. That's the village that the soldiers of that other king burned to the ground.
Yeah, so I've heard. And he just decided to join up with you?
Of course not. He had to beat our captain, Loiza.
And did he?
He killed him with his bare hands.
You won't get away with this. You deserve to die.
God have mercy! No!
Christ. He's on his last legs. Let's have a look then. The burns look ugly, but something tells me they aren't the main problem. The stab wounds are worse. They're red at the edges, and they're hot to the touch. I think this wound is infected. We ought to do something about it. At the very least, clean and bandage it. Maybe a potion would help him. Something healing. That works fast. The better quality it is, the quicker he'll get better. Maybe some herbs would help him. Medicinal ones. They help with healing. If I place them on his wounds and dress them, he could get some relief. I've seen enough. I think I know how to help him. I'll get him through this. I hope I can act fast enough. Fuck! What are we gonna do with you? I should clean that wound first. This'll sting a bit.
Ah! That hurts!
The wound is clean. I ought to put herbs on that wound. But I won't do... I'll give you a healing potion. I'm sure it'll help. This one should do the trick. Drink up. Now it's time... But I won't... I should bandage it for you. I'll just wrap it tight. There we are. I'll pray for you. At least your soul will get some relief. How does it go again? All praise and glory is yours, Lord our God, for you have called us to serve you in love. Bless Mikush, so that he may bear this illness in union with your son's obedient suffering, restore him to health, and lead him to glory. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. That's all. I'm sure he'll pull through. Mikush? Henry. But that's not important now. I know why Hanka tortured you.
My God, I told Hanka that the only person who knows where our inheritance is buried is Svatala. And then he burned me. So much pain. I told him where he could find her. My God, he took his men and headed out for her. To the hut. You have to save them. Hurry. I'll follow you. Don't wait for me. Their lives are in danger.
Come here!
Da! Da!
Quick!
Ka!
Da! Go!
Da! Ka! Da!
Quick! Whoa!
Your mother made, or about our father's decision. Mikkel.
Let her go immediately.
Take another step, and I'll slit her throat.
Mikush is alive. Nobody has to get hurt.
What do I care? Stay back, I say.
Let her go. We can talk this over. It's not your fault what you've done. You've gone through horrible things.
What could you know about that?
Believe me, I know. You're horribly angry and you can't control yourself. But no one else should suffer because of that. Talk to me. Peacefully.
Peacefully. All right. We'll do it your way.
Praise be to God.
Look, I know it doesn't look good, but I was in the right. The money they hid, it belongs to me. It's my inheritance.
I don't understand. You'll have to explain it to me.
My grandfather, old Svotosh, was rich. He worked the fields all around Mesvelis. He built up a beautiful house. He had many children, but only 2 daughters made it into adulthood. Svatova and my mother, Ludmila. When she was dying, he fucked my mother over and gave the house and all his money to Svatova and that tailor of hers.
To disinherit his daughter like that. It's strange, to say the least. Did he have a reason to do that?
Reason? Svatosh hated my father. He was just your average poor commoner, but that wasn't good enough for his high and mighty self. Svatova and Mikush got married off in Kutenberg at the Church of St. Peter and Pavel. Did they invite my parents? I was still little, but I remember he treated us like dirt. And not just him. We barely had any proper food to eat. Pa had to go work in the mines at Horsham for a few groschen. He ended up trapped under rubble there. He died a cripple. After that, no one even moved a finger to help us. Not Svatova, not Mikush, no one.
You're damn lucky I came in time to help Mikush. Things might have ended up much worse.
I only wanted justice. Nothing more.
Drat told me you were attracted to Vendula.
That's not true.
Don't lie. I hear she danced with you. And you were over the moon.
I wasn't. I just... Not so many girls danced with me.
Because you're just a hired hand?
Well, she's my cousin. I wasn't head over heels for her or anything. No way. I mean, who want me anyway?
How did you join up with the bandits?
My first night out, I slept under a tree. I was starving. I went out hunting for mushrooms, but when I saw a fire, it was that gang. Captain Loiser was their leader, a big fella. They said they'd let me join if I beat him in a fight. So, I beat him. And they made me their leader.
And what about Loiser?
They buried him in a glade.
I reckon that was no great loss.
I don't know. We didn't really get to know each other.
Tell me one thing. How did you survive what happened in Messeles?
Dumb fucking luck, I reckon. That band of despicable cutthroats. Once they made their way into the courtyard, all hell broke loose. Tried to defend ourselves, but everyone but me fell. So I fled to save my brother and mother. It's too late. Everything was burning. I took off running and didn't stop until I was deep in the forest.
No matter what you've done, I must admit, I feel sorry for you. I know well what you went through. Your family? What happened to them?
No one survived. No one was expecting it. Once the soldiers entered the village, there was no escape. The captain caught his eye on my brother, who worked with me in the courtyard. Franz was barely 15. He didn't stand a chance. I ran out to the fields for Ma.
But they got there first. All I could hear was a screaming. And then it stopped. I lost everyone. But Svatma and Mikush did it!
I'm sorry, but your misfortune gives you no right to harm others. I get it. You're alone and desperate. It's sad not to have someone by your side.
You're right.
But believe me, there is someone out there for everyone. It's God's will.
You think so?
Certainly. Try and pray more. And visit the baths. That's important.
I wish I heard that earlier.
But it's never too late to change, believe me. Look at me. I'm just an ordinary village boy.
You might be right.
If you felt aggrieved, you should have found another way. Violence solves nothing.
That's the first time I've heard that. You don't exactly look like the type of man that would avoid, say, torturing an enemy. Or am I wrong?
Yes, I've tortured people. I admit it.
So you see.
But the circumstances were different.
That's just a load of bollocks. If you were in my situation, I bet you'd do the same.
In any case, you should apologize. You put them through hell.
I won't apologize to anyone. They had a guilty conscience because of what they did to me. If they shared just a bit of their wealth, nothing would have happened to them. But they didn't. They fucked up my life. I'm poor and alone.
Enough talk.
Be reasonable. No one died in the end.
I said, enough talk. I know how to end this whole unfortunate situation. Take what I said about rectification to heart, and leave here in peace.
Very well. I was getting sick of the bandit life anyway. You'll never see me around these parts again. I swear. Farewell.
Hey, Hanka! Where's he going? I have no idea. My fella told him to leave.
Hey, Hanka! Hanka, wait!
It's all right. Everything's all right.
He nearly took...
You both all right?
My sweet Vendula, did he hurt you?
I'm all right, Ma.
Thank God. Thanks for the rescue, Henry. And thank you for Mikush, too. The poor things must have suffered. Hunker, that bastard. I hope he'll pay for all his crimes.
I'll let him go.
For God's sake, why? A bastard like that? He's a bandit. He'll hurt someone else. You should have killed him on the spot.
Hanka didn't end up killing anyone.
Oh, stop talking nonsense. Every criminal deserves a just punishment. And I thought seeing my own home burned to the ground was the worst thing.
We've gone through a lot, Ma. So much suffering. We have to leave this place. Get as far away as possible, as soon as possible.
Wait. Did you hear something?
I don't hear anything.
There! Again! Someone's outside. Jesus. It's those bandits. There must have been more of them.
Ma, take it easy. I don't hear anything.
Henry, go and have a look.
It's not the bandits. Look who's come home.
Mikush!
Pa!
You made it here quickly.
I came as fast as I could. I nearly gave up the ghost. I was so worried about the two of you.
I'm so glad you survived. That horrible hunker tried to kill us.
I know. All because of the inheritance. He went absolutely mad.
If it weren't for Henry, he'd have killed Vendula. And then me.
That lunatic. Who would have guessed that about him? He used to be a good lad.
After all that, Henry let that good lad go.
Well, let's hope he never shows up here again. I'm awfully knackered. I need to lie down for a bit. Will you help me?
Of course, Pa. Come and rest inside.
I reckon you're hungry too. Vendula, give him some gruel. It should still be warm.
All right. Come on, Pa. Carefully.
And the two of us should have a word.
What did you want to talk about?
I wanted to thank you for everything.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
As you might have figured out, everything that happened was all because of our inheritance, which I hid from the soldiers in Messalis. I understand you've done everything you can for us, but I wanted to ask if you could go and get it for us. You're a strong, capable man, and you don't scare easy, and it'll be worth your efforts. Trust me.
All right, I'll look for it. But you'll have to tell me where I'll find it.
Listen, I'll tell you everything. My memory's not as good as it once was. Our house is the third one on the right when you follow the main road towards Visoka. Anyone entering the village goes by our house. Must have been about 2 days before the tragedy. The neighbor boy ran over and started yelling about how something was coming, that he'd heard it from the patrol on the road. No one believed him, not even his pa. After all, why would soldiers attack a monastery village, one far from their camp? It didn't make any sense. That night, though, I had a strange dream. I tried to put out a fire, but the more water I poured on it, the bigger the flames got. So, I decided to hide all our valuables. Only I couldn't do it during the day. I was worried someone would see me. I put all of it in a chest, loaded it onto a handcart, and waited till nightfall.
Did you believe your dream?
Dreams are gifts from God. They can tell the future. Don't you know that? But anyway, when night fell, I snuck out the back of our house with a handcart, making my way through the hole in the fence next to the compost heap. Mikush was supposed to fix that hole a long time ago. But as good as he is with a needle and thread, well, when it comes to other work, you can forget about it. At least it made things easier for me. First, I headed right. Then I turned left, up the path, around the neighbor's barn. It's outside his fence. I had to stop there, because the neighbor's little brat was still awake and wandering around. Fortunately, he didn't see me. So I kept going past a low wall where two paths cross. There, I went left. Once I was safely out of the village, a dog started barking at me, so I had to pick up the pace. Instead of turning right down the path, I went straight into the field there. That handcart was damned heavy, and it was rough going off the path. I crossed the field, making it to the woods, but the wheel got stuck there. I couldn't go any further, and it was pitch black. I lit a lantern and dug a pit to fit that chest. Took me forever. When I was done, I could barely walk straight. The sun was coming up. I left the handcart and shovel there and went back the way I came. I hope those directions are good enough for you to find it.
Why did you do all that work yourself? Why didn't your husband help?
The fewer people know about it, the better. I didn't want to leave anything to chance.
That's all I need. I'll go and find your inheritance. What's the story with your inheritance?
My father, Old Man Svatos, was quite wealthy, at least compared to the rest of the village. You see, he worked all fields and farms around here. He had 9 children, but only me and my younger sister Ludmilla made it into adulthood. And then, when he died, he left everything to me. He wanted to be sure, because with Ludmilla, he was worried she'd blow through all of it.
Why did your father disinherit Ludmilla?
She was quite flighty. She liked to have a good time, if you know what I mean. She was never without a man. Then she brought this hired hand home. Fanos was his name. She had to marry him, as she was in the family way. Svatos threw her out of the house without a second thought, heartlessly. And he never mentioned her again.
Why didn't you help Ludmilla then? Hanka said you didn't care about them. That you left them to starve to death.
That's not true. I offered to help her. I found her a job, but it was in vain. She was mad. Sometimes something came over her, like she was possessed. It was frightening, and it got worse and worse. It seems Hanka has inherited it from her. Those aren't the kind of people you let live in your house.
Why didn't you help Hanka at least? He lost his father after he got hurt in the mines. He must have been desperate.
Fanos? A miner? Where did you hear that? He never stepped foot out of the village. He drank so much, he lost his job, and then fell off a cliff at Simperk. He's a common swindler. And he's delusional, just like his lunatic mother. I hope our paths never cross again.
How did Svatos become so wealthy?
He was a good farmer. When he was young, he worked on a big farm somewhere near Colleen and worked his way up from the bottom to become the custodian. But it's no coincidence he ended up in Mezeles. He was close with the old custodian of the Sedlets monastery. They were friends. Sometimes you've just got to meet good fortune halfway.
What did he do with such a large inheritance?
What do you think? I took care of it the way Pa wanted, so our Groshen didn't just roll away from us. So our Vendula would have a good life, a good dowry, and a good husband. At least someone as good as my Mikush.
I'd like to know more about Meseles.
Those are sad memories.
You know, I've been through something similar. Sigismund's army burned down my hometown. Skalitz.
My lord! Thank God you managed to save yourself.
Unfortunately, very few of us were so lucky. My ma and pa stayed behind.
I'm so sorry to hear that. What would you like to know, Henry?
I know reliving it isn't easy, but I'd be interested to know how the attack unfolded.
Like I said, we were prepared for it, unlike the others. The soldiers came from the main road. First the horsemen. They cut down anyone who stood in their way. Then came the first flaming arrows, and the roofs began to burn. The horsemen then stormed the farm, and that's all I saw. May God save the souls of those innocent people.
You said you were prepared. So someone warned you?
I already told you, Henry. A few days earlier, the neighbor boy was shouting about how he had heard something was going to happen. And then, I had the strange dream. So I decided to get ready, just in case.
Did you know where you'd flee to?
I did. I remember this old hut by Billiny. A long time ago, the Lord's huntsman and his family lived there. When the forest fell under the ownership of the monastery, he had to move out. It was empty for years, and now it's our home.
What was Meseles like before all this? Was it a big village?
I wouldn't call it big. Maybe back in my father's day, but not in recent years. As more and more silver started coming out of the mines, people moved to work in Kutenberg. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nobody left to work in the fields soon. But what can you do? That's a question for the custodian. And there's no reason to ask now anyway.
Was there anything peculiar about Meseles?
What do you mean?
Well, something worth looking for, I mean. Something the soldiers might have wanted.
They didn't attack us for our buried inheritance, that's for sure. They came for food and plunder. Though, on second thought, I heard something about a mysterious cave that's supposedly beneath Meseles. But I reckon that's just an old wives' tale.
What are you gonna do now?
I hope that inheritance brings us back the happiness we've lost. I hope our suffering ends soon, and we'll see better days again.
I'm going for the inheritance. I hope it's still there.
I'm sure it is. No one would ever think to look where it's hidden. Me, Vendula, and Mikush will wait here for you.
Whoa! Yes? This is where Mikush's family lived. It's a pretty big house for 3 people. I reckon they had a lot to be jealous of. I wonder what happened to the neighbour's boy. Maybe he managed to escape with his life too. Maybe. lords are playing soldiers, and it's the ordinary folks that suffer. Just like in Skalitz.
A fast! Egen nästa husba! Nem kellett volna beleütnöd az orrod. Baszok rá!
Oh, a stench of fire. No. I don't want to be reminded of that day. Ah, this is where Svatova took the handcart onto the meadow. The inheritance can't be far.
Heal! Ka! Ka! Go! Ka! Quick! Ka! Go! Quick! Quick! God! God! God!
I was in Messeles and followed your instructions.
And? Did you find it?
The chest was buried by the forest, exactly where you said. Next to the handcart.
My God! Thank you for everything. Vendula, Mikush, Henry has returned, and he found our inheritance.
Finally! Some good news.
Don't keep us waiting, Henry. Let's see what you have for us.
Here's everything I found.
Fabric, Groshan, and our ancestor? Nothing's missing.
This fabric's as good as new. Think of all the money this will make.
Finally, fortune smiled upon us.
It surely has. I told you that once our ancestor comes back to us, everything will be like it once was. Thank you, Henry. If you ever feel like learning something new, Mikush here would be glad to teach you.
So he teach me to play dice, eh?
You can't learn dice.
That's not what I meant. He's a tailor by trade.
I reckon I could. Stop by, Henry.
God be with you, neighbour.
Greetings to you two.